Krishna will start with the invocation. Om Jnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vande Aham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvetam Savadutam Parijan Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Teen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for coming. So today we will revise Unit 3 of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is Canto 1 from the middle of Chapter 7 to end of Chapter 9. After the presentations by you all devotees, I will provide feedback to all, and I will recommend that you listen to my Guru Maharaj's lecture on how to do presentation and what should be our mood when we are doing presentations, as well as when we are attending the classes. And we should have time to discuss the inquiries that you have submitted in the last couple of classes. So we'll start with the presenters, and Abhishek Prabhu has recorded his presentation because he's traveling to Vrindavan. So this is spectacular approach and spectacular use of resources in Krishna's service, that if I am not able to physically or virtually attend, but Krishna's service needs to continue. So I will play his recording, and then one after the other, all presenters will present. Let's hear from Abhishek Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, requesting permission from all the devotees, Srila Prabhupada, Sri Radha Krishna, to be able to speak on Srimad Bhagavatam. The current section is the first section of Unit 3, and it sets up the base for the upcoming discussion. So this unit primarily composes of prayers of Kunti Maharani and Bhishma Dev, and some of the sitting which leads to those prayers. So this particular section, section 3 of chapter 7, it describes the activities related to birth of Lord Parikshit, birth of King Parikshit, and his ultimate protection by Lord Krishna. Srila Prabhupada describes that any activity related to Lord is auspicious and transcendental and should be heard, and advises in this regard that all cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam are important, and it is immoral of some people to jump directly to the 10th canto without understanding the previous cantos. In Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says in this regard that he wanted all devotees to understand the total message of Srimad Bhagavatam and then preach it. So the current setting is that Pandavas have kind of won the war, but Ashwatthama has killed the sons of Draupadi, and Duryodhana is not pleased by this act and he dies. Now Arjuna consoles Draupadi by speaking that he will bring Ashwadhama to them. He will punish Ashwadhama because Ashwadhama is an aggressor, and Ashwadhama is called as the son of a Brahmana, not a Brahmana, but a son of a Brahmana, because he has already degraded from his Brahmanical position because of the act he has committed. So the Sanskrit also describes Ashwadhama as Dvija Atmaja, son of Brahmana. So while Arjuna is trying to capture Ashwadhama releases the Brahmastra weapon in fear, and this creates a very fearful situation even for Arjuna. And this brings us to the first set of prayers offered to Lord Krishna in the Bhagavatam. These are set of mini prayers from verse 22 to 26, where Arjuna sees a glaring light coming towards him, and the whole world is distressed by this heat and light. So Arjuna is frightened, and he addresses the Lord as the one who instills fearlessness in his devotees and asks for protection. So we can want to understand that the burning frames of material existence can only be mitigated by the mercy of the Lord, and which is received through the transparent medium of self-realized spiritual master. So the Lord is merciful by nature, and because the living entity forgets their eternal position of being a servant under the illusion of Maya, the Lord descends to reclaim these fallen souls out of his causeless mercy. The Lord is equal to everyone, yet he is specifically favorable to his devotees. So this also shows the etiquette of asking anything from the Lord. First we praise the qualities of the Lord, and then thank him, and then ask for a blessing, and then again pray to him. So some of the qualities of the Lord which are described here is ultimate shelter against fear, transcendental, merciful, and why he descends. So Lord describes the cause of the heat and the solution, that Arjuna should throw another Brahmastra to retract both of them. Arjuna worships the Lord, and taking his permission, he throws the Brahmastra because he also knows that there will be some destruction. But it is necessary, and Lord has given his permission. So we see that like Srila Prabhupada writes that it is not that by someone's will the world could be destroyed. It is only by the will of the Lord that it can happen. So any nuclear weapon cannot destroy the world, and the Lord does not want the world to be destroyed. So Arjuna becomes an instrument to save the world. So when the Brahmas collide, the excessive heat hurts the people of all the three worlds. But then immediately Arjuna retracts the Brahmastras, and everyone is saved, and Arjuna becomes the instrument. Ashwadhama is caught and bound like an animal, which is a treatment befitting his degraded status. Now Arjuna and Krishna both are angry over Ashwadhama, but Arjuna's anger is in his eyes are compared to red balls, while Lord's anger, his eyes are still compared to a lotus. So we can see the difference between the anger of a jiva and anger of Lord. Lord's angriness is only for the cause of his devotees, and still the object of the anger is benefited. So whether the Lord is pleased or angry, both the cases the other party is benefited. So this marks the end of this section, and the next section describes how arguments fallen against killing of Ashwadhama. Thank you.
Okay, super excellent. Archana is next to present.
Prabhuji, the presentation was excellent, Prabhuji. Now I'm nervous to present my one.
Do what you can. Rely on Krishna, depend on Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. I request permission and blessing from all devotees from Srila Prabhupada, Sri Radha Krishna, to be able to speak on a subject matter. of Srimad Bhagavatam. I'll be talking on Canto 1, Chapter 7, the son of Dronapanish, takes 35 to 58. Arjuna bound Ashwadhama like an animal and wanted to take him to the military camp. Lord Krishna suggested Arjuna not to take to the camp, but kill Ashwadhama. Lord Krishna, giving a religious principle, do not show mercy on Brahmin Bandhu, means who is a relative of Brahman and not qualified by of quality to be called to. And he killed innocent boy in their sleep. In text 44, as Abhishek Prabhu has said, the anger of Lord Krishna's and Arjuna is compared here. So in that verse, it has been addressed as Ambuja Iksanaha, eyes compared to the lotus flower, even though Krishna is angry, but his eyes are not red. Verse Arjuna's eyes are red at Matri river, but Arjuna is a pure devotee. Lord Krishna even reminded Arjuna his promise to Draupadi. Crueler and wicked person who maintain his existence at the cost of others' lives deserve to be killed for his own well-being. Otherwise, he will go down by his own action. And even Ashwadhama has dissatisfied his own master Duryodhana. But Arjuna refused to kill Ashwadhama. Now here, Lord Krishna is testing Arjuna's sense of duty. Lord Krishna put to the test his pure devotee just to magnify their sense of duty. Gopis and Prahlad Maharaj also put in such test. All pure devotees come out successfully in the respective test by the Lord mercy. Arjuna carried Ashwadhama to the camp where Draupadi was present. Now Draupadi's mild and compassionate nature is visible. Even she offered obeisances to Ashwadhama, who was born with a rope like an animal. Draupadi gave a reason not to kill Ashwadhama. He is a Brahmin and they are obliged to Acharya Drona, master guru, for teaching them a military arts. She got compassionate towards the mother of Ashwadhama and Dronacharya's wife Kripi, who did not undergo sati because Ashwadhama was alive. And son represent father. She's talking about the mercy. That's how the Krishna's devotees are all about. Draupadi show the equality because she has experienced the pain of childlessness. She doesn't want creepy mother to experience the same pain of childlessness. She making all this glory statement from the scriptures. After listening Draupadi's statement, even King Yudhishthira support her and he say, these decisions are glorious. Nakul, Sadev and a few other also agree for not killing Ashwadhama. But Bhima angrily disagree with their statement and recommended killing. Now here is the situation. One side Draupadi and one side Bhima. This put Arjuna in confusion. What to do? He looked at Lord Krishna. Take a shelter. Both side arguments are some extent right. He support both. Lord Krishna smiled. And when Lord Krishna smiled, that means Lord Krishna has a plan. And Lord say, you have to respect Draupadi and also Bhima. You have to kill and not to kill too. That indicate to Arjuna to select the compromise without his sword. Arjuna shaved Ashwadhama hair. He took his jewel from his forehead. This was as good as cutting Ashwadhama's head, leaving him without wealth and residence, and his life was spared. This is how they punish the Brahma Bandhu Ashwadhama. And here I finish my presentation. Thank you. Hari Bol. Please forgive me for my shortcoming and my mistake. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hari Bol.
Okay, super excellent. So what everybody should do is, before giving feedback to the presenters, the first point should be to provide striking points and or inquiries for the presenters. So somebody or everybody should try any striking points and inquiries from the presentation. Somebody?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Striking point I received from Archana Das's Mataji's presentation is that the Lord puts us to the test, and we should, practical application of it is that every time in every moment of our life, the Lord is putting us to a test.
Okay, very good. Rest of you?
Prabhuji, the Lord is testing to use the intelligence at the strike, at the stage. This is what the tracking on.
All right, very good.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, Abhishek Prabhu and Archana Mataji, both presentations were very nice. And she was afraid that Abhishek Prabhu has done a good job, so she will not be able to do it, but as good. But I think she was very lucid and she explained it very nicely. So I really am thankful to both of them to have presented the summary so beautifully. Hare Krishna.
Okay, any comments for presenters? Oh,
Prabhuji, very good presentation, up to the point and restricted to the timing. This is very, very, we have adopted it and nice, impressive.
yeah, very good point. That it was bang to the point and within the allotted time. Yes, very good. Yes, so both Abhishek Prabhu and Archana did very good presentations. So normally I do presentations after this, but they have already done most appropriate presentation. So I don't have anything to add. So I will skip this presentation of this chapter 7 in unit 3. Now, chapter 8, even after our discussion last week, there were no presenters for chapter 8. So all of you are supposed to prepare all chapters. Is anybody able to do chapter 8 presentation spontaneously? Okay. Since there are no presenters, I will present chapter 8. So chapter 8 is titled Prayers by Queen Kunti and Parikshit Maharaj Saved. So Krishna is ready to leave Dwarka, and at that time Uttara comes running to him. Uttara says, "You are God of gods. No one except you can give me protection." Uttara is not worried about her protection, hence she is saying, "Let the Brahmastra burn me, but please save my child." Upon removal from the camp, Ashwatthama became angry and again released another Brahmastra. Krishna is Bhaktavatsal, very affectionate to his devotees. Krishna had taken a vow not to pick up weapons, but Krishna picked up his Sudarshan Chakra because first, Krishna is very practical. He is not stuck with a vow. He does not want to remain just as a moral person who never breaks his vow. Rather, he wants to be known as Bhaktavatsal. Then the Lord saw that there was no time for Pandavas to counteract the Brahmastra of Ashwatthama. Another reason is that therefore the Lord took up his weapon even against his vow of not picking up weapons in the battle. Because of the emergency, it was more important than the vow. This way, Krishna protected Parikshit Maharaj. Kunti Maharani could see personally how Krishna protected her sons and grandson. Kunti Maharani was overwhelmed seeing the majestic power of Krishna. Hence, Kunti Maharani starts offering prayers. Krishna is playing the part of a nephew of Queen Kunti. And so as to not put Krishna in an awkward position, that's why Kunti Maharani, as the aunt, is offering obeisances and prayers to Krishna, but does not start the prayers by looking at the lotus feet or offering obeisances at the lotus feet, but starts the prayers, a very famous prayer that starts from the navel. But as a pure devotee who can never forget Lord's lotus feet, she ends the prayers with the lotus feet of the Lord. So Kunti Maharani says, you are not ordinary. You are Purusha, Ishwaram, controlling nature, that Prakate Param, but invisible to those who are not your devotees because of their rebellious nature. Cannot understand Krishna by my contaminated senses. The analogy is given that father is acting in a drama. Mother can recognize, but a baby sitting in the audience cannot recognize the father in the drama. Similarly, devotees have no problem to understand that Krishna as a child could kill Putana, lift Govardhan hill. But those who are attached to body do not know Krishna. They cannot understand such superhuman activities of Krishna. And similarly, instead of focusing and describing Krishna's lotus feet first, Kunti Maharani uses the word lotus in various ways and then focuses on comes again to the lotus feet at the end, because for a pure devotee, there is nothing beyond Krishna's lotus feet. Kunti Maharani prays a very famous prayer. Nama Pankaja Nabaye, Nama Pankaja Maline, Nama Pankaja Netraye, Namaste Pankaja Agrahe. So in her prayers, in the various prayers, Kunti Maharani describes a lot of qualities of Krishna. First is Param Purusha, Ishwara. Kunti offers obeisances as Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is not affected by Prakriti. Prakriti works under Krishna's supervision. Krishna says this in Bhagavad Gita 9.10. Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti. He is the supreme controller. Another quality is Atmaram. As Atmaram, he does not need anything. He only reciprocates love with his devotees. Another quality is Bhaktavatsal. So we have discussed Bhaktavatsal quality just few minutes ago, how Krishna protected Parikshit Maharaj. So Krishna is practical, very practical. He does not want to remain as a moral person who does not break a vow. Rather, he wants to be known as Bhaktavatsal. Means he is very affectionate to his devotees. Lord is impartial to all. Still, he is inclined to his devotees. Now, this is not a fault. Actually, Bhaktavatsal is Krishna's great quality. There are many examples showing Krishna as Bhaktavatsal. We won't discuss all the examples now. Another quality is Akinchana Gocharam. Krishna is easily approachable by one who is Akinchana Gocharam. Akinchana Gocharam means by those who are materially exhausted. Material advancement are disqualifications for spiritual advancement because people get puffed up with material opulences. Hence, they cannot utter the holy name with feelings. But helpless person Akinchana can utter holy name with feelings. Another quality is Akinchana Vittaya. Krishna is Akinchana Vittaya, meaning devotee becomes the property of Krishna. Devotee does not consider anything material as protector. Then devotee becomes property of Krishna, and becoming property of Krishna means Krishna will take care. Krishna will protect devotee just as we protect our material assets. Another quality is eternal time and samam charatam. That Krishna is eternal time, without beginning, without end, and is all pervasive. Opportunity for devotional service is open to all. Lord is never partial for this, for devotional service. So partiality and impartiality are not on Lord's mercy, but is on the part of a devotee. So no one told you not to go to the Lord for protection. Another quality, I'm pretty sure everybody has experienced this quality, that is Krishna bewilders everyone. He acts in a way that bewilders everyone. Krishna makes his devotee forget that he is Supreme Personality of Godhead, so that loving exchange can be performed in a natural way. Example, Mother Yashoda could bind Krishna. Seeing all this, Kunti Maharani was also bewildered and could only praise this wonderful quality, the bewildering quality of Krishna. Lord is understood by those whom he chooses because they are intimately related to him. Another quality is feared by fear personified. Krishna is feared by fear personified, but Krishna is afraid of his pure devotee Mother Yashoda. This quality is also bewildering. Another quality is Krishna meticulously pleased. Generally, Lord is worshipped by devotees in reverential attitude. But Lord is meticulously pleased when, out of pure love and devotion, devotee considers the Lord to be less important than him. Krishna reciprocates love with his pure devotee. Krishna renounces his supremacy so that love can be supreme. In Vaikuntha planet, yes, Narayan is supreme, but in Goloka Vrindavan, Krishna is not supreme, love is supreme. So Krishna renounces his supremacy so that love can be supreme. So Queen Kunti is remembering that she was shown far more favor by Krishna compared to Krishna's mother, Mother Devaki, because Kunti was alone while Devaki's husband was there. Krishna more merciful than Lord Ram because Krishna is very easily and more approachable. Queen Kunti summarizes material existence in one line, in 3 words. Avidya kama karma bhi. That even though different individuals explain different reasons for Krishna's appearance, real reason for Krishna's appearance is to destroy ignorance. Height of pure devotion of Queen Kunti is, she says, that all these calamities are blessings on me. Let those calamities happen again and again, so that we may remember you, Krishna, again and again. Because by remembering you, Krishna, we will not have to come back to this miserable material world. So calamities will always be there in the material world. It's not optional. With all the difficulties, Kunti Maharani and Pandavas became more close to Krishna. They were surrendering more and more to Krishna. So devotees take opportunity to come closer to Krishna. So this is the practical learning for me to apply that whatever calamities happen, we don't have a choice. But when those calamities happen, how to remember Krishna, how to use the calamities to remember Krishna. This is the important teaching, the practical teaching from these prayers of Queen Kunti. And Kunti Maharani further is praying to cut attachments from both the Pandavas and Vrishnis. And Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that to cut off family affection means to actually broaden Krishna consciousness, means increase relationship at the level of the soul. The benediction, Kunti Maharani is asking that let my consciousness flow to you, just as the river Ganges naturally flows to the sea. The last part of chapter 8 describes Yudhishthir's lamentation. Yudhishthir was in grief, great pain from Kurukshetra war. Yudhishthir was thinking that I am not the king. Duryodhan was the king. Yudhishthir saying Duryodhan was ruling properly and I created the trouble of fighting. Hence, I am cause of killing of so many people because of my personal wanting to gain the kingdom. Killing was my self-motive. Yudhishthir saying, I was not the king. Hence, fight was not for administration, but for my self-aggrandizement. Because I, Yudhishthir, wanted to be king. Therefore, my heart is filled with ignorance. Great rishis were citing scriptures and saying to Yudhishthir that you are not at fault. This is Lord's plan. But they could not console Yudhishthir. Even Krishna could not console Yudhishthir because this was the Lord's plan. This is why Krishna was again smiling. In this all three chapters, 7 and 8 and 9, this Krishna smile comes again and again, this enchanting smile. And whenever Krishna is smiling, oh, Krishna has some plan. The plan was that Krishna wanted Bhishma Dev to console Yudhishthir. This way, Krishna planned to take Yudhishthir and the Pandavas to Bhishma Dev to satisfy Bhishma Dev's desire to see the Pandavas on the throne and all very nicely situated, as well as that Krishna is personally present in front of Bhishma Dev while Bhishma Dev leaves his body. That's a quick summary of chapter 8. Any questions, comments, realizations? So I see there is a question posted in the chat. I'll read. Can you elaborate on this point that devotees consider the Lord to be less important than him? Is Krishna or the devotee here? So the question is not how it is worded. It should be the other way around. Devotees do not consider the Lord less than him. It is the Lord who wants the devotees to be higher than him. Means the Lord wants the devotees to be glorified more than him. Just as in the material world, the father wants the child to grow and be recognized. That's exactly what Krishna as the Supreme Father is wanting for the devotees, that the devotees should be glorified more than him. Abhishek Prabhu, does that answer the question and rest of you?
Yes, Guruji. Thank you.
Questions, comments, realizations? All right. So we'll now do the next presentation. Nitya is up.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna everyone. Seeking permission from all assembled devotees, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Parampara, Sri Sri Radha Krishna, to present Srimad Bhagavatam today. Please forgive me for any shortcomings. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, verses 44 to 52, Yudhishthira's Lamentation, and Chapter 9, verses 1 to 11, Bhishmadev welcomes everyone. Prabhu, thank you. You already gave a gist of the verses 44 to 52. I'm just going to follow. Hearing the prayers of Kunti Maharani, Lord Krishna smiled, and his smile was as enchanting as his mystic power. Kunti Devi had prayed to the Lord, and she was able to only enunciate a fraction of his glory. No amount of chosen words are sufficient to describe the Lord's glory. Yet he is satisfied, just as the Father is satisfied, even by the broken words spoken by a young child. Lord Krishna was making preparations to leave for Dwaraka. But when King Yudhishthira, who was struck by grief, asked him to stay for a few more days, he immediately agreed. And this is because the Almighty Lord is controlled only by the loving affection and service and nothing else. So he is very inclined towards his devotees. King Yudhishthira was overwhelmed with grief because of the mass massacre of human beings in the Battle of Kurukshetra, where 640 million people were killed in 18 days of battle. This was the greatest battle in the world within 5,000 years. King Yudhishthira wasn't convinced, even when the great sages like Vyasa and Lord Krishna himself, quoting the scriptures, convinced him that the fight was just as the cause was just. Lord Krishna is the performer of superhuman acts, but this instant, he nor Vyasa could convince the king. Does it mean he failed as a superhuman actor? Certainly not. The Lord, as a super soul, in the heart of everyone, King Yudhishthira and Vyasa, performed still superhuman actions, as he desired it. Lord Krishna wanted Bhishmadev at his last days to see him personally and also see his beloved grandchildren and King Yudhishthira on the throne and pass away peacefully. The Lord desired that King Yudhishthira be pacified by the words of Bhishmadev, and he wanted the world to see that Bhishmadev excelled all in knowledge, including the Lord himself. A Kshatriya is bound by duty to fight for the right cause, and in the discharge of this duty, he should not be disturbed by the actions that occur. All this was known to King Yudhishthira, but by the will of the Lord, he was just like a common man, deluded by the worldly affection and died. There was another idea behind this delusion, that the king be instructed by Bhishmadev, just as Arjuna was instructed by the Lord himself. The king performed the Ashwamedha Yajna, but he still felt that it was impossible to get relief from his sins. The battle of Kurukshetra was actually fought by the will of the Lord, and the king was placed on his throne by his will. Actually, no sins touched the Pandavas, who were just order carriers of the Lord. King Yudhishthira, accompanied by his younger brothers and Lord Krishna, went to the battlefield of Kurukshetra to see Bhishmadev, who like a demigod fallen from the sky was lying on the bed of arrows. King Yudhishthira, his brothers and Lord Krishna bowed down before him. Lord Krishna, though conscious of his supreme possession, always behaved in a customary fashion, and thus bowed down before Bhishmadev as one of the younger brothers of King Yudhishthira. Bhishmadev was endowed with the power of leaving his material body at his will, and lying down on a bed of arrows was his choice. The passing of the great warrior had attracted the attention of all the contemporary elites, and all great rishis, including Sukdev Goswami, were assembled there. Bhishmadev is one of the 12 Mahajans. Though physically unable to receive them, being fit by the activities of a sound mind, he spoke sweet words to welcome them. He is Dharma Purusha, and when he spoke, everybody listened. Great acharyas know how to adjust their religious principles by time, place, and circumstances. Bhishmadev, seeing his exalted grandson, headed by King Yudhishthira, shed tears of ecstasy, for he was overwhelmed by the love and affection. He was most satisfied to see King Yudhishthira on the throne and congratulated them. Lord Krishna's omnipotency is displayed by his simultaneous presence in his eternal abode in everyone's heart, even within every single atom of Paramatma. He manifests his eternal transcendental form in the material world by his internal potency. Bhishmadev was aware of these truths and worshipped the Lord accordingly. Hare Krishna.
Okay, super excellent. Chandran Prabhu is next.
Hare Krishna. All glories to His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Parampara, and Sri Radha Krishna. Seeking permission from Gurus and Gauranga to speak on the subject matter Srimad Bhagavatam. Seeking permission from all the assembled devotees for any of my shortcomings, please. The subject given to me is from the Unit 3, Canto 1, Chapter 9, from part, as a first part 12 to 22, Bhishma Deva pacifies Pandavas. Bhishma Deva wanted to impress Pandavas. He said the battle of Kurukshetra was to counteract the injustice. Hence, Bhishma Deva spoke to Maharaja Yudhishthira as he should not regret the great massacre. Spoke to Yudhishthira to dissipate his despondency because he was guided by the bona fide Brahmanas and Vaishnavas following strictly religious principles. The inevitable time, Kala, controls the space within the universe. Time is the forceful representative of the Lord within the material world. Everyone has to bear the actions and reactions of time in the material world. Yudhishthira should not think that he had committed sins in his previous birth and is suffering the consequence. A pious man, faithful to the Lord, guided by Brahmana and Vaishnava, following religious principles, will not be disturbed by the tricks of eternal time. Even Brahmaji is also under the control of time. In the case of Pandavas, materially they were well equipped with the various Bhima and Arjuna. Spiritually, the king himself was the symbol of religion. Lord Krishna was as a well-wisher and concerned of them. Yet, there were so many reverses and occurred due to Kala, inevitable time. This influence of Kala indicates the inexplicable wish of the Lord himself. There is nothing to be lamented when a matter is beyond the control of any human being. Bhishma was a great devotee of the Lord, but he chose to fight against Pandavas. He could not win battle. Lord wanted to show that vice cannot conquer virtue, that a fighter like Bhishma cannot win on the wrong side. Similarly, the Lord teaches the world by teaching the devotee. In the case of teaching of Bhagavad Gita, it is for teaching the less intelligent men. A devotee should accept the tribulations from the Lord as a benediction. The Pandavas were advised by Bhishma Deva to accept the responsibility of administration without hesitation. After a battle of Kurukshetra, they were waiting for Maharaja Yudhishthira to assume power. Vedic knowledge is received perfectly by disciplic succession from authorities. Bhishma Deva is one of the 12 Mahajanas who knows the principles of transcendental knowledge. Lord Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. Bhishma Deva says that he is the first Narayana. In the spiritual world, there are unlimited number of Narayanas. They are considered to be the planetary expansion of the original personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. All are one and the same Vishnu Tattva. Krishna is the creator of the material world. His movement amongst the human being are another sort of bewilderment. The bewilderment regarding Krishna is due to his twofold internal and external energies upon the third one called marginal energy. The living entities are expansion of the marginal energy. Great authorities like Bhishma escaped his bewilderment by the mercy of the Lord. Few devotees of the Lord are all bhavas who knows the glories of the Lord in different transitional loving service. 12 great devotees of the Lord are listed in text 19. For short of time, I am not enlisting it, like the Brahma up to Yamaraja. All the glories of the Lord are known to the great Mahajanas like Bhishma and is able to grasp by his grace. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, out of his causeless mercy and for favor upon his unalloyed devotees, he performed all kinds of services. Everything and everyone is the manifestation of this energy. Lord is distributed by the different energies. He is Paramatma or the separate or the super soul present in everyone as the supreme guidance. He has no false ego. He does not feel inferior by becoming the chariot driver of the pure devotee. Therefore, whatever he does is free from material inability. The root cause of all troubles is there in false egotism. The appearance of Lord Krishna at the deathbed of Bhishmaji is due to his being an unflinching devotee of the Lord. Bhishmaji had no body relation. The cause of attraction is due to the intimate relation of the soul. Part 2 is speaking about Bhismadeva glorifies Krishna's position as the Supreme Lord. A devotee who engages 100% on the service of the Lord is called yogi. Attention is engrossed with the thoughts of Lord in a field of devotional service, name 9 field of devotional service, namely hearing, chanting, remembering, worshipping, praying, becoming a voluntary servant, carrying out orders, establishing friendly relationship, offering all the dormant forces in the service of the Lord. That perfect yogi is enabled by the divine grace of the Lord to concentrate his mind upon the Lord. This qualifies the desire to be transferred to the spiritual sky, thus avoiding the miseries of the birth life after life in material world. Bhismadeva was fortunate enough to have the Lord directly in his presence before he quit his material body. Bhismadeva desired Lord Sri Krishna to manifest himself in his 400 feature of Narayana. As a humble Vaishnava, he desired to see the beautiful face of the Lord. The great general would quit the body only by his own will. He got this benediction from his father. A pure devotee is never anxious to go back to the kingdom of God. He is always in rapt attention to thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord. Bhismadeva thus wanted to pass away. Part 3, instructions to Yudhishthira. Maharaja Yudhishthira was inspired by Lord Krishna to ask Bhismadeva of the principles of religion in the presence of many great sages. Bhismadeva, lying on deathbed of arrows, was greatly aggrieved. But Lord Sri Krishna wanted to prove that his pure devotees are always sound in body and mind by spiritual enlightenment. Yudhishthira preferred to solve his problematic questions by asking Bhismadeva all the stages speak of the right way of life. Even at that stage, he was questioning about the right stage of life. This is all arrangement of the Lord Sri Krishna. The Lord declares that worship of his devotee is more valuable than worship of the Lord himself. At Maharaja Yudhishthira, inquiry Bhismadeva was defined all the classifications of cause and orders of life in terms of individual qualification. He described counteraction by detachment and interaction by attachment. The Varnasrama Dharma is prescribed for human beings to train him successfully to terminate human life. Bhismadeva advised 9 qualifications for human beings for self-realization. It is listed in text 26. For want of time, I'm skipping the details. The intelligent men, Brahmanas, must seriously make a study of the Vedic literature, especially the Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. The Kshatriya, the administrator class is advised to give charity and not to accept charity in any form. He must be well versed in Shastras, never to pretend to become non-violent. Reference here is given as how Arjuna chastised by Lord in Kurukshetra battlefield. He must be trained in military education. Cowards should not be elevated to presidential throne. Vaisyas or mercantile communities were given charge of the protection of animals, particularly cows, responsible to produce essentials needs of man, namely rice, wheat, grains, milk, fruits, and vegetables. Sudra class is less intelligent and should have no independence, meant for rendering service to the 3 higher sections of the society. The higher class should look after the maintenance of the Sudras to their satisfaction. The main purpose of ashrama dharma is to awaken knowledge and detachment. The Brahmachari ashrama is training ground for prospective candidates. Self-realization is the ultimate aim of life. Household life is for one who is attached. Vanaprastha and sannyasa are for those detached from material life. The Brahmachari ashrama is especially for training both the attached and detached. He then explained by divisions acts of charity, the pragmatic activities of a king and activities for salvation, as well as the duties of women and devotees briefly and extensive. For want of time, I am able to point out only few as follows. Householders must give charity to 50% of their earnings. A brahmachari should perform sacrifice. A retired person must practice penances and austerities. All ashramas on the path of self-realization. One must understand that the world as property belongs to Supreme Lord. Everyone's energy is borrowed from the Lord. Even Bhagavad Gita 9.27 says, whatever the sacrifice given in charity must be offered to the Lord. The Raja Dharma is a great science. To lead the prajas to the attainment of salvation was a great duty of the king. For ultimate liberation from birth, death, disease, and old age, the father, spiritual master, and king are responsible. The qualified brahmanas are meant to give direction to the king for proper administration. A typical king should be pious, religious, chivalrous, and munificent for the citizen to follow for material happiness. As far as salvation is concerned, one has to conquer the lust, anger, unlawful desires, avarice, and bewilderment. 14 ways to overcome all these hurdles are listed in text 27. I'm skipping it for want of time. Women class are accepted as power of inspiration for men. Women are more powerful than men. Powerful women are controlled by shyness. The last item taught by Bhismadeva was the process of pleasing the Lord. For the householders to install deity of the Lord at home. One may progressively go up on a daily work as worshipping, serving, hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, and chanting the holy name of the Lord. Thus, the grandfather Bhismadeva explained to his grandchildren. Then he described the occupational duties of different orders of life, citing instances from history, for himself well acquainted with the truth. My presentation closes with humble submission to devotees, with all excuses for my shortcomings. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for listening. Thank you.
Yes, super excellent. Mayank Prabhu is next. Hare Krishna, everyone. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Sri Radha Krishna, seeking permission from uh, all devotees to speak on the subject. Please forgive me for my shortcomings. I'll be speaking on Canto 1, Chapter 9, verse 29 to 43. As the great warrior Bhishma Dev, the grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, laid on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, resting on bed of arrows, wounded yet unwavering, his consciousness was completely absorbed in Lord Shri Krishna. This was not ordinary, that it was a divine departure, a moment of supreme spiritual significance. As he prepared to leave his mortal body, Shri Krishna himself stood before him. The Parthsarthi form of Krishna as Arjun's charioteer had captivated Bhishmadev's heart. He longed to meditate upon this form in his final moments, for he knew that remembering Krishna at the time of that would grant him liberation. A lesson for Yudhishthira. Shri Krishna had brought Yudhishthira to Bhishmadev for a reason. The war was over, the Pandavas had won, but Yudhishthira was plagued with guilt and sorrow over the destruction caused. To remove his doubts and establish the principle of Dharma, Shri Krishna instructed him to ask questions to Bhishmadev, the greatest authority on righteousness. With great wisdom, Bhishmadev spoke about religious principles, kingship, and devotion. His words became timeless teachings on duty, righteousness, and the eternal truth of the soul. Krishna as the glory of Parth form. But beyond all knowledge, Bhishmadev's heart was absorbed in Krishna alone. His devotion was unique, not in Krishna's majestic opulent forms like Narayana, but in his Parthsati form, the humble charioteer of Arjuna. Even Arjuna, who was closest to Krishna, did not perceive this form the way Bhishmadev did. For Bhishmadev, it was the most beautiful, intimate, and relishable vision of the Lord. As he remembered Shri Krishna holding the reins of Arjuna's horses, his heart overflowed with devotion. This remembrance led him to an eternal loka in the spiritual world where Shri Krishna eternally exists as Parthsarthi. Bhishmadev was not only a warrior but also a devotee in the chivalrous Veer Rasa relationship with Krishna. When he shot arrows at Shri Krishna during the war, Shri Krishna did not see them as an attack. Rather, he released them as offerings of devotion. Just as a priest offers flower to the Lord, Bhishmadev's arrow were his way of worshipping Krishna. The Lord, being absolute, accepted both with equal pleasure. Bhishmadev's fixed his mind on Krishna in that wounded condition, knowing that the Lord had personally reciprocated with him in battle. During the war, Bhishmadev had vowed to fight so fiercely that either Arjun would die or Krishna would have to break his promise of not picking up weapons. To honor Bhishmadev's determination, Shri Krishna picked up a chariot wheel and charged towards Bhishmadev, his eyes red with divine fury. Bhishmadev, seeing Krishna approaching like a lion towards an elephant, dropped his weapon and opened his arms ready to be slain by the Lord. Yet this was not an act of enmity, it was a supreme exchange of love between the Lord and his devotee. Krishna was showing that the promise of his devotee is more important than his own vow. Bhishmadev glorified this divine act, recognizing Krishna's unmatched affection for his devotees. Krishna's presence on the battlefield was not just for the Pandavas but for everyone, even those who fought against him, those who were pierced by Arjuna's arrows, attained salvation simply by seeing Krishna at the moment of their death. Srila Prabhupada explains that although it appears that Krishna was responsible for many deaths, in reality he was granting them perfection, a spiritual world entry that they would not have attained in ordinary life. This is the Lord's supreme mercy. Even his so-called enemies are given the highest destination. Bhishmadev deeply meditated on how Krishna protected Arjuna, his chariot, and even the horses during the battle.
One such moment occurred when Arjuna had vowed to kill Jayadratha before sunset, and Dronacharya and Duryodhan created a massive formation to keep him away. As Arjuna struggled to break through, Krishna stopped the chariot in the middle of the battlefield. Arjuna, although in great urgency, trusted Krishna completely. With his arrows, he created a lake for the horses to drink. In this moment, Krishna not only protected Arjuna but ensured his ultimate victory. Bhishmadev called this divine protection Vijay Rath Kutumba, the family of the victorious chariot where Krishna was the head, ensuring safety and success for his devotee. As Bhishmadev's final moment approached, he remembered the gopis, knowing that they were the highest devotees of Krishna. He understood the ultimate truth: Krishna is pleased when his devotees are pleased. If one has an enmity towards a devotee, one cannot truly attain Krishna. With this fixed, with his eyes fixed on Krishna, his mind absorbed in Krishna, and his heart surrendered to Krishna, Bhishmadev attained Samadhi and entered the eternal world of Krishna's pastime. Hare Krishna.
Okay, super excellent. Nitya also wants to do the same presentation for the Bhishma Dev prayers.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Seeking permission from all assembled devotees, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Parampara, Sri Sri Radha Krishna, to present Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 9, Part 5 and 6 today. Please forgive me for any shortcomings. I'm going to follow up with Mayan Prabhu's presentation, which was super excellent. So I prepared this and I'd love to present it. In the momentous hour of leaving his material body, Bhishmadev set a glorious example about the most important function of the human form of life. Thoughts that we accumulate during this life influences our thoughts at the moment of death. So in fact, this life creates the next life. Bhishmadev glorified Lord all his life. So this influences thoughts at the moment of his death. He focused on the Parthasarathi form of Lord Krishna. If one is absorbed in the thoughts of the Lord at the time of death, he is sure to reach Golaka Vrindavan. Simple Bhakti Yoga is enough to bring about perfection. His prayers ask for rati, for attachment to the Lord. He prays for firmness of mind. Bhishmadev wants to invest all powers of thinking, willing, and feeling entirely in the Supreme Being, Lord Krishna. His mind was sound by dint of spiritual knowledge, free from material desires. And Bhishmadev offered his purified mind as a gift, with Sana, not expecting anything in return. Unless one is purified from material desires, Lord cannot be his suitor. Lord gives instructions from within to his devotees to return home to Godhead. And for the non-devotees, he largely remains silent, observing their actions and awarding the results accordingly. Bhishmadev takes this opportunity to address the Lord as Vijay Sati, friend of Arjuna, as Lord is pleased by glorifying and associating with his devotees. While Krishna was the charioteer of Arjuna, the sun rays glittered on the dress of the Lord, and the beautiful hue created by the reflection of his face was never forgotten by Bhishmadev, as spoken in his beautiful prayer 1.9.33. Tribhuvana Kamanam Tamala Varnam Ravi Kara Gaura Vara Ambaram Tadale Vapur Alaka Kula Varta Anana Aksham Vijaya Sati Tatir Astume Navadya. Transcendental relations with the Lord in any one of the rasas is identical. Bhishmadev shooting arrows at the transcendental body of the Lord is similar to the devotee offering roses at his lotus feet. This is bewildering to the non-devotee. The fighting is an exchange of transcendental rasa between the Lord and his pure devotee. There are no possibility of wounds on the Lord's body, as the Lord and his body are identical. The enmity to Bhishmadev and partiality to Arjuna is not real. Factually, all this was shown as a special favor to Bhishmadev, a great devotee of the Lord. He fixed his mind on Lord Krishna in this wounded condition. The Lord is never the order carrier or supplier for anyone, but out of his causeless mercy for his pure devotee, he would serve the devotee, and in doing so is pleased like a father carrying out the order of a small child. The Lord is absolute and is good and merciful to all. All fighters assembled on the battlefield, including those of the opposite party, attain salvation by seeing him at the time of death. Lord Krishna eradicated Arjuna's ignorance by giving him Atma Vidya, the transcendental knowledge. Bhagavad Gita was spoken by the Lord for the benefit of all concerned in all parts of the universe. Lord Krishna, fulfilling Bhishmadeva's desire and sacrificing his own promise, when Arjuna's life was in danger, he got down from his chariot, picked up the wheel, and charged towards Bhishma like a lion charging towards an elephant. Bhishmadev calls this as affection by the Lord, and he wanted to see Lord in his personal form, just as all pure devotees aspire for it. Lord's action was to please his devotee and to keep his vows. Bhishmadev had made a vow that Lord Krishna would have to take up weapons or Arjuna would die. Bhishmadev in his prayers refers to Arjuna, his chariot and horses as Vijaya Ratha Kudumba. Just as the head of a family takes care of all of his family, devotees are under the Lord's complete protection and see his presence at all times. Bhishmadev focused on the Parthasarathi form of the Lord at all times. As the Lord was in front of him, Arjuna was not able to see this form as he was behind the Lord. In his prayers, Bhishmadev glorifies the gopis, who are the highest devotees of the Lord. He remembers the gopis at the time of death to have their mercy and understands that the Lord is pleased when his devotees are glorified. In all situations, glorified Lord Krishna and his devotees. To meditate on the Lord is to meditate on his name, fame, and pastimes of the Lord. In his last prayer, Bhishmadev remembers the beautiful form of the Lord. The state that's attained by Bhishmadev while quitting his body is called Nirvikalpa Samadhi, because he merged himself into thinking of the Lord and his mind into remembering his pastimes. Any one of the 9 devotional services, the 9 steps of devotional service, are identical and will offer the desirable results if practiced consistently with the guidance of the spiritual master. Hearing is the most important. Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are the sound incarnations of the Supreme Lord and are identical with the Lord. One can fully utilize them to attain the stage of Bhishmadev. The human form of life is especially meant for dying like Bhishmadeva. Srila Prabhupada was working on translating the Srimad Bhagavatam until his last moment and uttered the word Krishna as believed that Na was uttered in the spiritual world. Bhishmadev was known all over the universe and respected as one of the 12 Mahajans. So at his passing, the inhabitants of all planets sounded drums in honor and dropped showers of flowers to show their respect. Maharashtra Yudhishthira, after completing the final rituals, returned to the capital of Hastinapur and established his rule according to the codes and principles approved by Bhishmadev and confirmed by Lord Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay, super excellent. Any questions, comments, realizations for the presenters? Somebody?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yeah, everyone has done an excellent job, Prabhuji, and everybody uses the reference of Srila Prabhupada and the statements, and one quoted the verses. Excellent, Prabhuji.
Okay, very good. Correct point. And then Prabhu has to say something.
Prabhuji, nothing. It's excellent. Everybody has done a very nice thing. I think I have I have overshot my timing because I was not able to control. All these were essential, so I have extended maybe 2-3 minutes extra. I must excuse me for that one, please.
Okay, you did okay. Okay. All right. So all presenters for chapter 9 have also done a good job. I will not be presenting chapter 9. If you all are okay, I would like to give feedback to all of you, those presenting and those not presenting, as well as I will recommend you all to listen to my Guru Maharaj's lecture, he gave the lecture about 2 or 3 weeks ago. The focus of the lecture, I mean, there are so many points in his lecture. One of the point is what should be our mood when we are in classes and when we are giving classes. So those who are interested to listen to this lecture of my Guru Maharaj, you will have to send me one-on-one direct message in my WhatsApp. Otherwise, I won't remember if all of you say yes, no. I won't remember. So first I want all of you to step back. So last class, we had a challenge of finding presenters, and even after our heavy conversation, we did not find enough presenters. So I was hesitant to doing the presentation for this unit 3, but some devotees said, no, we want to present. So I said, okay, but still we didn't find enough presenters. Like, we have such a big batch and still not everyone is coming forward. So going forward, I will have a challenge for doing these presentations in this batch 3 and 4. Now, more than few devotees for this presentation of unit 3 connected with me to get the link to this Google Excel again. I was like, but I have already given it to you. So this Bhakti Viksha is our practice ground. So judge for yourself that tomorrow when you have a living spiritual master, is this how you would act? Ask yourself. That you are so engrossed in your material activities that you don't have time to even search, that link is already sent to you earlier and you are saying, please give it to me now. One of the devotees say, am I doing any presentation? The devotee doesn't even remember whether the devotee has asked for presentation or no, and does not even have the time to scroll through his messages. So whether the devotee has asked for presentation, does not even have time to look on the Google Excel to see whether the devotee has any presentations or not. So you tell me, is this the proper attitude that you all have developed? Or is there a correction required? Silence, I got silence.
Correction required, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji, there's correction required.
Now, a couple of devotees also gave travel as an excuse to not do presentation. That is not a valid excuse. We have discussed for so many previous classes where devotees have demonstrated, including Abhishek Prabhu today, that you record your presentation and do the presentation. Krishna's service cannot stop. So I recommend all of you, if you think that a correction is required in the mood, that you listen to my Guru Maharaj's lecture. I am not qualified to give you any feedback. I am not qualified to do any corrections for you. Therefore, I recommend you to listen to my Guru Maharaj's lecture where he specifically talks about this point, that what should be our mood when we are doing presentations, when we are attending classes. And Guru Maharaj doesn't say by himself Guru Maharaj quotes what Prabhupada has taught us. That Prabhupada demonstrated how to attend classes, how to present classes. And that's what my Guru Maharaj is quoting in his lecture. So whosoever is interested in listening, because I'm not going to force anyone. Because it's my Guru Maharaj's lecture and you will say, why am I forcing? So I'm not going to force anyone. So whosoever is interested to correct themselves, you please send me a message direct to me, and then I will forward to those who send the message. I will forward those lectures. Now you all are not alone. The devotees from other batch got the same feedback and same message. So we have Shivangi and Chandran Prabhu's virtually present here from the other batches. They got the same lecture that they are also doing presentations in the other batch. That what should be our mood when we are doing presentations? I want all of you to recognize for yourself whether you are all puffed up or not. Those doing presentations and those not doing presentations equally, ask yourself, when you listen to my Guru Maharaj's lecture, whether or not you listen to my Guru Maharaj's lecture, ask yourself, are you puffed up or not? So don't send a message here in the chat, send a message directly to my WhatsApp, so I will know whom to send my Guru Maharaj's lecture, because you are quite a few in this batch. Again, I am not qualified to give you any feedback. Therefore, I am recommending you to listen to a spiritual master, my Guru Maharaj, who specifically talks on this same point. Any questions, comments, realizations? For those of you who did presentations today, you all did a very good job. Therefore, I did not present after you all did presentations. But I have a challenge that there are only few devotees who always want to do the presentations. Well, it's unfair. Therefore, I have a challenge. I already had a challenge for the presentation for this unit. But because of requests from so many devotees, I said, okay, let's do at least this presentation. But going forward, I will have a challenge for the presentations unless you correct yourself significantly. All right. So for rest of the time, I will bring up on screen the inquiries submitted by devotees from the previous classes, and I will answer. I may not be able to finish all of them today because there are inquiries from a couple of classes, but we'll see what we can today, and remainder I will answer in subsequent classes. So question number 1. When one is faced with taking up a position at work which brings on additional responsibilities, knowing that material entanglements takes us farther away from our spiritual goals, what will help us to make the right decision? So there are devotees present here from yesterday's batch 6 and 7 class, where we did discuss this briefly, where Krishna says in chapter 5, and you can listen to that class recording also if required, that work does not cause bondage. Attachment causes bondage. In Bhagavad Gita 3.14, Krishna says, Yajna Karma Samudbhava. This is the answer. that as long as you have a balance between your material and spiritual life, then you are okay. Just taking up additional responsibilities on itself, that is not the cause of material entanglement. Krishna has said, work does not cause bondage. Attachment causes bondage. So if you have these additional responsibilities, and Bhagavad Gita 3.27 says, Karta ahamiti manyate, that person is Vimudhatma, that when we consider ourselves as doers of activity, that causes bondage. Work does not cause bondage. Does that answer the inquiry?
Yes, Prabhu, thank you so much.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Question number 2. Why does Bhishmadev focus on Krishna's human-like qualities, like the dusty hair, sweat, and battle wounds, and also Krishna being a chariot driver of Arjuna, rather than his divine opulence at the time of death? So we have discussed this at great length in the Bhishmadev's prayers in the last couple of classes, that Krishna is absolute. For Krishna, whatever way you serve Krishna is identical. So the devotee who asked this question actually then has also realized the answer. The question was asked before our discussion. So a pujari offering soft flowers to Krishna is identical to Bhishmadev shooting arrows at Krishna. So Bhishmadev is in a Mausalya Rasa. Mausalya Rasa means the fighting Rasa. Hence Bhishmadev is attracted to the Partha Sarthi form of Krishna driving Arjuna's chariot on the battlefield. Does that answer the inquiry?
Prabhuji, can you please explain it once again?
So Bhishmadev is in Mausalya Rasa, means fighting Rasa. He's in the chivalrous Rasa. So for him, that Krishna's Partha Sarthi form, riding Krishna's chariot, not Krishna's chariot, Arjuna, Partha Sarthi form of Krishna driving Arjuna's chariot on the battlefield, that is attractive. And Krishna being absolute, a pujari offering soft flowers to Krishna is identical to Bhishmadev shooting arrows at Krishna. Okay.
Ji, Prabhuji, got it. Thank you.
Question number 3. Bhishmadev's mind trained for battle and was filled with thousands of strategies. How did he transition so smoothly to singular, unwavering meditation on Krishna at the last moment? Now, this remembrance of Krishna at the moment of death is not artificially forcing to remember Krishna at the moment of death. We have discussed in Bhagavad Gita 8.5 that if one remembers Krishna at the moment of death, he attains Krishna. So Acharyas have explained that do not try to remember Krishna at the moment of death because death is very difficult. Rather, try to remember Krishna throughout your life by chanting japa, doing devotional services, etc. So Bhishmadev was remembering Krishna throughout his life by doing the service assigned to him by Krishna. Bhishmadev is a pure devotee and a Mahajan. Pure devotee can never forget Krishna. So it's not just at the last moment that he was remembering Krishna. Throughout his life, he was remembering as well as serving Krishna. Does that answer the inquiry?
Yes,
Yes, Prabhuji.
Ji, Prabhuji.
Question number 4. Why does Bhishmadev recall the Rajsuya Yajna where Krishna was worshipped from Canto 1, Chapter 9, Text 41? Despite the battlefield being a much more personal and intense interaction with him, what is the significance of remembering this event? So Bhishmadev is remembering every event to glorify Krishna as well as glorify Krishna's devotees. Like Bhishma Dev did not just glorify Krishna. Bhishma Dev glorified Arjuna, Arjuna's chariot, gopis, Krishna giving Bhagavad Gita instruction, Krishna protecting all of them as Kutum, as well as glorified Krishna also. So at the Rajsuya Yajna also, Krishna was glorified. Hence, Bhishma Dev is remembering and again glorifying Krishna. Does that answer the inquiry?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Question number 5. Bhishma Dev had the boon to choose his moment of death. Yet he still waited for the auspicious time when the sun moved north. What is the significance of this time? So we discussed this at one of our classes, which is described in Bhagavad Gita 8.24 to 27, that the Ashtang yogis, they try to leave the body at an auspicious time, and then those who leave the body at inauspicious time, they will have to come back. If the Ashtang yogi leaves the body at auspicious time, then he does not come back to the material world. So for devotees, in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, 24 to 27, Krishna has explained that for devotees, these times don't matter because Krishna takes care of devotees. Now, Bhishma Dev did not wait for the auspicious time. Actually, read the purport. Prabhupada explains that Bhishma Dev did not wait for the auspicious time to leave his body. Rather, because time is servant of Krishna and Bhishma Dev being a great devotee, therefore, time caused the time to become auspicious just as Bhishma Dev was leaving the body. Everybody on the same page? Does that answer the inquiry?
Prabhuji, did you say that time caused the time to become auspicious?
You are correct. Time itself caused the time to change and become auspicious just at the moment when Bhishma Dev was about to leave the body. Bhishma Dev did not wait for the time to become auspicious. The time changed to serve the servant of Krishna. Pragya, everybody?
Yes, Prabhuji, beautiful. Thank you.
Yes, Prabhuji. This was very, very good to understand and learn.
Yeah, very good.
Prabhu, may I ask a question? I think you've discussed this before, but just to clarify. So even for the non-devotee, non-believers, if there are family members who are around them at the time of passing, if they utter the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, they will still be receive the benefit, even if they never believed or followed anything in their life.
Yeah, you are correct. That even if somebody is not a devotee, you all try to make that person's atmosphere at the moment of death as Krishna conscious as possible by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, playing Prabhupada Japa, reading Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, having Krishna's picture in front of Shri Radha Krishna's picture in front, put the Kantimala, do all those tiny things, and that should still become auspicious. I mean, you can only try. You don't know whether that person will be remembering Krishna or not. You just do your duty properly without worrying the results so that you don't fall in 3.27 that karta hamiti manyate. Nitya?
Thank you, Prabhu. Prabhu, when people who have not been devotees, who are non-devotees, at the end of life, I think the fear of death, right? Because it clearly says you can't overcome the fear of death without surrendering to the lotus feet of the Lord. So if when we are seeing the fear and the anxiety, and we're not supposed to talk philosophy to them, maybe it would not be appropriate at the very end. But if there's something more we can do, yes, definitely include them in our prayers, give them prasad, the mala. But sometimes you feel like you want to tell them, you would be so much more peaceful if you just accept, just even it can be in the final moments, but is it okay to say that?
Agitate that person more. Don't do that. Just do the subtle things like give them prasad, or just ask them to listen to Prabhupada Japat. Tell them, don't worry about anything. Just listen what we are praying here. So recently, one devotee left the body. Devotee was in ICU in coma, and the family members or the hospital was feeding through the pipe. Now, Nitya is a doctor. Nitya will know that somebody is in coma, but they are just maintaining the body. So what the family members did was they went to ISKCON, they took the few drops of Charnamrit and they added in the water that was being fed through the tube. The person was lying in coma. The person does not have any ability. But give them prasad. That's all you can do. Prasad will do the magic. Nitya?
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Mayank Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I think I've partially got my answer, but just to clarify, so when devotees pass, right? So does that mean that it will be auspicious time? No, right? It's not, or it is.
So Krishna has explained in Bhagavad Gita chapter 8, it should be verse 26. Krishna has said this auspicious and inauspicious time don't matter for a devotee. It doesn't matter whether the time is auspicious or not. For Bhishma Dev, because he is such an elevated pure devotee, time itself became auspicious to serve Bhishma Dev and to please Krishna. But Bhishma Dev did not wait for the auspicious time because it's irrelevant. So your point, whether the time will become auspicious for all, no, you have to be as elevated as Bhishma Dev, not for all devotees.
Got it, Prabhuji. Thanks.
Pragya?
Prabhuji, I think I also got my answer partially, but I still want the clarification that did you say that if a non-devotee is dying, then reciting prayers in front of the person may irritate the person? So we should try to serve prasad. Is that what you were guiding, Prabhuji?
I didn't say prayers. Nitya was saying whether to speak philosophy. So I said philosophy may agitate the person who is not in Krishna consciousness throughout the life. So don't speak philosophy. Just do simple things at the moment of death, because the person is about to leave. Do what is going to be beneficial. Give them prasad, give them Prabhupada Japa, read Bhagavad Gita, put Kantimala on the neck, put Shri Radhakrishna picture in front. Do these simple things rather than philosophy. At that time, philosophy is not going to help if that person has not been in Krishna consciousness throughout his life. Because philosophy is going to agitate. He'll say, what do you mean? Well, you don't want that situation at all where the person leaving the body will say, what do you mean? You don't want that at all.
Ji Prabhuji, so reciting Hare Krishna Mahamantra in front of the person, is it good?
It is absolutely auspicious.
Okay, Prabhuji. So Prabhuji, I was just wondering whether Nitya, being a doctor, has she been doing when she may have seen more deaths than a normal person sees? So whether she does this as part of her treatment or helps?
Nitya, no, so it's for the family members. So the example that I was giving, that this devotee was in coma, the family members, what they were doing was that, so in the ICU, the family members are not allowed 24 hours. They are only allowed for about 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening. So family members, what they were doing was they were reciting Bhagavad Gita, the chapter a day of Bhagavad Gita. Then they were playing Prabhupada Japa, and they were themselves chanting. They put the Kantimala and a pendant of Shri Radha Krishna. And all they were talking about was Krishna conscious activities. That's all they were doing. And that was only 20 minutes or so when they are allowed 2 times, one in the morning, one in the evening, because the person is lying in coma. The hospital says, no, you cannot be here beyond this time. So that's all you do, simple things. Okay?
Ji Prabhuji, did you say chapter 8 or chapter 18?
So right now, so my Guru Maharaj has this, read a chapter of Bhagavad Gita every day. So that sequence changes from Ekadashi to Ekadashi, or sometimes my Guru Maharaj gives a special. So this particular month is chapter 7. So during that time, you can just follow whatever is there. What that happens is that actually becomes a service to my Guru Maharaj. So my Guru Maharaj has taken a vow to Srila Prabhupada that my Guru Maharaj will read one chapter of Bhagavad Gita every day, no matter what. And all disciples of my Guru Maharaj, they follow this same. So they serve their Guru Maharaj and by that they serve Srila Prabhupada, that they read the same chapter throughout the world every day. Same chapter. So for this particular month, it is chapter 7. So if you join the Japa group that we have, the morning and evening Japa group, Toronto Times, both those Japa groups, they also read the same chapter a day, every day or most days. Pragya?
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you. It's very useful.
And Pragya, I will send you that link. I can actually post it here. The read chapter a day link I will post in the chat. It's readchad.org. So you can follow. So it gives you the when the change happens. So my Guru Maharaj will instruct when the change happens of one to read next chapter. Right now is Bhagavad Gita chapter 7 to read. And there's a short video also you can follow along there.
Prabhuji, is it just a practice or there is some auspiciousness associated with it?
The auspiciousness is that you are serving my Guru Maharaj. So my Guru Maharaj is serving his Guru Maharaj being Srila Prabhupada. And this is a direct instruction of my Guru Maharaj to all disciples to also read this one chapter every day. And I also read. Sometimes I miss. I mean, material world is very difficult. Most days, almost, it's only once or twice that I miss. And on my sadhana card, I do mention to my Guru Maharaj that I missed. So the auspiciousness is that you are serving a pure devotee. Okay?
Prabhuji, yes, Prabhuji, got it. Thank you so much.
Somebody else had a hand raised, I forgot.
Prabhuji, in the link that you shared, it says current chat reading until April 16.
Yeah, so before April 16th or just around April 16th, then my Guru Maharaj will post new chapter. So till April 16th or till you get the new instruction, you read chapter 7 every day. That's it.
Okay.
Tara?
Prabhuji, I wanted to clarify the same question. So you read chapter 7 every single day, whole chapter for one whole month.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this actually started some mid-February sometime.
Okay.
So right now, Guru Maharaj has given this special instruction to read this chapter. Generally, it changes from Ekadashi to Ekadashi. And sometimes it's part of a chapter. It generally changes Ekadashi to Ekadashi. But sometimes Guru Maharaj has something special. I mean, for what reason, I don't know the reason. So right now, and including the previous month also, from January 1st of 2025, up to now, it has been full chapters. Previously was chapter 8 and now is chapter 7. And during, say, Kartik month, he will have special, for example, chapter 15, Purushottam Yoga. So if whatever that chapter day is there, when a devotee or non-devotee is leaving the body, just read that relevant chapter. It becomes a service to a spiritual master of the person leaving the body, whether or not he is a devotee. Tara, everyone?
Yes. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Pragya, Nitya.
Yes, Prabhu, thank you so much.
Ji Prabhuji, so you mentioned that it is.
Okay,
Sorry, yeah, Prabhuji, I was saying that you mentioned that it is Ekadashi to Ekadashi. It is not calendar month.
So I say generally it is Ekadashi to Ekadashi. For these last two instructions from January 2025 onwards, it has been special instruction to read the whole chapter for a very long time.
Okay, Prabhuji.
So right now also it's there till mid-April. Actually, it started sometime in February. It's just a special instruction. And then it will change. So follow that website and you can just keep doing it. And whosoever will be doing, I thank you all already that you'll be doing a service to my spiritual master by reading this chapter a day every day. And join the Japa group. They anyway read, do one round of Japa and read this one chapter together with everyone.
Ji Prabhuji, thank you.
Archana.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I got the answer. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Question number 6. If liberation alone is the highest goal, why do even the greatest liberated beings still long for Krishna's personal presence? Does this suggest that the soul's deepest fulfillment lies not in mere liberation, but in divine intimacy? So liberation is not the goal of life. Rather, unmotivated and uninterrupted devotional service is the goal of life. So here's a practice for you all. So when you will be sitting in the audience with your Guru Maharaj live, Guru Maharaj will do this many times. That Guru Maharaj will say, look up this verse. He will say 1 or 2 lines. So many of you have memorized this verse that I'm about to quote, but I'm not going to give you the first line. So this should be your level of memorization, that when I give you in between line, you should be able to recall the verse or at least be able to look up the verse. So the answer to this question is a direct verse. It's definitely a key memorization verse. Many of you have memorized that verse. So I'm going to quote that verse, not the first line, and all of you try to find that verse through your memory or by looking it up. So I will quote the second and the fourth line of this verse as the answer, as the direct answer to this question number 6, and you all try to recall this verse. That what is the goal of life? Yato bhakti adokshaje. That bhakti to adokshaje means bhakti to Krishna, and the result is yayatma suprasiddhati, that soul is satisfied. What is the verse that I'm quoting?
Prabhu, 1.2.7.
Okay, very close. 1.2. Priyanka?
1.2.6 Savai Pumsam Paro Dharma Yato Bhakti Radokshave.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Abhishek was also very good. Yeah, absolutely correct. So I have on the screen also that Savai Pumsa Paro Dharma. Yato bhakti radokshaje. So this is what I quoted. Yato bhakti radokshaje. Ahetuki apratahita yayatma suprasiddhati. So this should be the level of your memorization, that you should know the meaning of each line. And even if in between lines are quoted, just as I quoted the second and the fourth line. So those of you who found, all of you, Nitya was also very close, Abhishek Prabhu and Priyanka were bang to the point. That should be how you should memorize. Don't get absorbed in material things. Get absorbed in memorizing this way. Or at least you should be able to look it up. We have electronic means, so look it up. So while you are sitting in audience, listening to a spiritual master class, spiritual master will frequently quote portions of verses like how I said and ask someone to please find and recite the verse. So who wants to recite 1.2.6 and read the translation? Priyanka, you anyway recited? Go ahead again.
Yes, Prabhuji. Save pumsa parodharmo yato bhakti radokshaje ahetuki apratihata yayatma suprasidhati. Translation: the supreme occupation, dharma, for all humanity is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendent Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. Hare Krishna.
Right, so liberation is not the goal of life. Devotional service is the goal of life. And further on the liberation, I will bring up on screen again a key memorization verse. Salokya sarishti samipya sarupyena aitkvam api uta. Diyamananam nagrahanti vinamat sevanam jana. Vinamat sevanam. Abhishek Prabhu, you want to read the translation?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. A pure devotee does not accept any kind of liberation, salokya, shasti, samkhya, sarupya, or ekatva, even though they are offered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Right, this already answers, and I'm going to quote one more verse on the screen. It is 4.12.28 to make it crystal clear, and we'll read the translation and purport as the answer. Gauri, if you want to read the translation and purport from the screen, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. The great sage Maitreya continued. Maharaja Dhruva was very dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When he heard the sweet speeches of the Lord's chief associates in the Vaikuntha planet, he immediately took his sacred path, dressed himself with suitable ornaments, and performed his daily spiritual duties. Thereafter, he offered his respectful obeisances to the great sages present there and accepted their blessings.
Purport.
And purport. We should mark how dutiful Dhruva Maharaj was in his devotional service, even at the time he left this material world. He was constantly alert in the performance of the devotional duties. Every devotee should take his bath early in the morning and decorate his body with tilak. In Kali Yuga, one can hardly acquire gold or jeweled ornaments, but the 12 tilaka marks on the body are sufficient as auspicious decorations to purify the body. Since Dhruva Maharaj was living at that time in Badrika Shrama, there were other great sages there. He did not become puffed up because the airplane sent by Lord Vishnu was waiting for him. As a humble Vaishnava, he accepted blessings from all sages before riding on the plane brought by the chief of the Vaikuntha associates.
Right, so performance of devotional duties is the goal of life, not liberation. Does that answer the inquiry?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Fine, Prabhu.
So Prabhuji, we discuss, right, like we need to go back to Godhead, right? where Golaka Vrindavan. So with I mean, I'm a bit confused. So is liberation not related to that?
So liberation means that you are not under the control of material nature. So Prabhupada was physically present on earth, but Prabhupada was always pure devotee, and Prabhupada was always in Goloka Vrindavan and Prabhupada was always liberated because Prabhupada was never under the control of material nature. So we read in 3.29.13 just a couple minutes ago that my devotees, Krishna is speaking those words. Well, Lord Kapila is speaking that particular verse, but Lord Kapila is same as Krishna. Lord Kapila is saying that my devotees do not accept any of the liberation. So one of that liberation from the five kinds is to live on the same planet as Krishna. Well, devotees don't accept that if it is not associated with service. So going physically to Goloka Vrindavan is not the goal. Service is the goal. Whether the service is here in the material world or in the spiritual world does not matter. So I will bring up 3.29.13 again and we'll read again to crystal clearly understand that going to Goloka Vrindavan is not the goal. Vinamat Sevanam, that is the goal. Mayan Prabhu, read the translation again. 3.29.13.
Hare Krishna. A pure devotee does not accept any kind of liberation, Salokya, Sarsti, Sampya, Sarupya, or Ekatva, even though they are offered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Right, so Salokya, if you read the word for word translation, living on the same
Living on the
planet as
same
the Lord,
planet.
right? So devotees reject Salokya, not just Salokya, all kinds of liberation. Vinamat Sevanam, if there is no devotional service. So if you read the word for word translation, it's crystal clear. And who's giving this liberation? Krishna says here, or Lord Kapila says, Diya Mananam, that Krishna or Kapila De, meaning the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is giving the liberation to the devotee, but devotee is rejecting. Why? Vinamat Sevanam. If service is not there, then liberation is useless. Devotional service is the goal, not liberation.
Got it.
And there are more than few verses in this Kapila Siksha section where it explains that if you have unflinching devotional service, which we read in 1.2.6, then liberation is your maid servant. Mayan Prabhu?
Yeah, Prabhuji, got it. Hare Krishna.
Somebody else had a hand raised or wanted to inquire something? Everybody on the same page? Questions, comments, realizations? So there are many more questions to answer, but we won't be able to finish. So I won't answer now. The next slide, I will anyway start from the next class. I will answer. So there's a point mentioned in the chat that during chanting, Prabhupada made a prayer, please engage me in your service. Sometimes we have many things and internally don't want more service. How to understand this mood? So today, before the class started, I was playing the same Prabhupada 4-minute lecture, which is the purport of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Anybody remembers what's the meaning of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Everybody should know. What's the meaning of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra?
To revive our eternal consciousness, spiritual consciousness, to get out,
Okay, revive. Okay, what exactly are you doing when you are chanting?
Asking Lord Krishna for more service.
Yeah, you are asking Krishna for more service, and when Krishna gives you service, you are saying, "I don't want it." So
You're also praising the Lord.
yeah, you are praising the Lord, but mainly it's for service. So if you are asking for service, and when you get service, you are not wanting service. So what exactly are you doing? The challenge is in your approach. Abhishek Prabhu.
Well, can you elaborate on this, like challenge in your approach?
So you are, if you are fully occupied 24 hours in services, whether at the temple or even in your occupational prescribed duties, you are still chanting to get the strength to be able to maintain your service. Or if you don't have service, then you are asking for more service. So chanting is for both purposes. That whatever service I have, give me the strength to be able to execute and maintain that service. As well as if I don't have service, or if there is room to get more service, then give me more service. But when you get more service and you are saying, no, I don't want it, well, you are not doing, you are not following up to what chanting you are doing. You actually chanted for service. So Krishna says, here's the service. But then you are saying, no, I will only do the service that I want. That is not pure devotional service. We discussed this in Nectar of Devotion. Pure devotional service is anukulyena Krishna anushilanam. Anushilanam. That what is favorable for Krishna, not for you. So you have to find a balance. Now, this does not mean that you get more service and you will say, I will take up everything and you will lose the balance. No, you still need the balance. And you just, your chanting is also to get the strength to maintain that balance. Abhishek Prabhu, does that help you?
Yeah. Yes, Prabhuji. And like just one comment on this, like we can also think it in this way that we have so and so duties in the material world and we have so and so service. And like slowly we want to increase our service kind of engagements, not in a haphazard way, but like as a gradual process in that mood also.
Yeah, that's okay. You can gradually increase. That's okay.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
All right. We are just about at 9 o'clock here in Toronto time. So in 2 weeks time, the daylight saving time will change here in Toronto, not next week, but the following week. So I will post messages on that and I will inform at the next class about the change in time and we'll go from there. Panchakalpatarubhascha Kipasindubheva Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. We'll stop here. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
everyone.
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
everyone.
Krishna,
Hare
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you.